I'm a delivery driver for a Chinese restaurant. It's a job that suits me well. The pay is okay, and I get to drive around the city listening to music. The people I meet are usually friendly, and it's rare to encounter any problems. But on this particular night, I was about to be plunged into a living nightmare that would forever change my carefree attitude to work. My shift started off normal enough, until I received an order to be delivered to a house on the edge of town. The customer had left instructions for me to leave the food on their doorstep. The vast majority of people meet you at the door, but on occasions there's a request like this. It makes my job easier because there's no waiting around, just set the food down and away I go. As I pull up to the address, something seems off. The street is abandoned. There are no cars in the driveways or any signs of life. A couple of the houses are even boarded up. It's just eerie. I look up at my delivery address and see a dim light emanating from somewhere within. I make my way to the front porch and find a note taped to the door that reads, "Put the food on the table inside. The door is open." I stand there for a while wondering what to do. I really don't want to go inside, but I also don't want to bail on someone who might have mobility issues or is vulnerable in some way. I decide to follow the instructions and leave the food on the first sideboard or table that I come across. I knock on the door as I open it and announce myself. No one answers. There's a single light on at the top of the stairs, but other than that, the ground floor is illuminated only by a few beams of moonlight. There's nothing to set the food on in the hallway, so I move along the passage to the next available room. I can't find a light switch, but inside I can see a long table with chairs around it. I go into the room, and just as I'm placing the delivery down, I almost jump out of my skin as I see someone sat in one of the chairs. I laugh nervously. "Sorry, I didn't see you there. I've got your order." The figure stays completely silent, totally still. I move a few steps closer, with my hand outstretched holding their bag of food. My smile fades as I realise it's not a person at all. It's a mannequin. It wears a tatty wig with bald spots where hair has been torn out. Its head is mangled. It looks like someone took delight in mutilating it. It sits in front of a plate and cutlery, as if it's waiting for dinner to be served, with its hands neatly laid on the table. Under one hand is an envelope with tip written on it. I assume it's for me and open it up, expecting to find a few dollar bills. But instead there's a piece of card that reads, "Softly, softly tread, else I'll chop up your head. Signed Mr. Snippz." Beneath it is a drawing of a stick man with a big grin on his face. He holds a cleaver in one hand and a decapitated head in the other. I can feel the small hairs on the back of my neck standing on end. This very peculiar drop-off was escalating into a living nightmare. Who the hell is Mr. Snippz? My heart almost jumps out of my chest as a clock starts chiming in one of the other rooms. I'm frozen to the spot, my eyes darting around in terror. This all feels like something straight out of a horror movie, and I'm half expecting a tall figure to come lunging out of the shadows, with a large pair of scissors raised high above their head. I'm trying not to panic as I back out of the room, and then something touches the back of my head. I whirl around, and a long strip of sticky flypaper wraps around my face. I peel it off, and see that the shadowy hallway is now a gallery of dangling, sticky tendrils. The realization that someone must have laid these as I was in the dining room makes me dizzy. I squeeze my eyes closed tight to try and shake off the feeling. Yes, this could be one big hilarious joke starring yours truly. But what if it isn't? What if I'm actually playing a twisted game of Marco Polo with the world's most demented barber? I wasn't willing to test that theory, because one thing was for sure, I absolutely did not want to find out who Mr. Snippz was. I needed to get out of here as quickly and as quietly as possible. I'm relieved to see that the front door is still ajar. I keep my gaze fixed on it, ducking under a bunch of gluey ribbons. As my foot lifts, a faint rustling sound brushes past my calf. Glancing down, I see a sticky piece of paper clinging to the sole of my sneaker. It's making too much noise. I untie my shoelace and slip off my shoe, continuing wearing just a sock. The front door is only a few steps away, and with a sudden surge of desperation, my pace quickens. That's a mistake, because as I reach out for the handle, I fail to notice the shards of broken mirror scattered across the doormat until it's too late. My socked foot lands on one of the pieces, the sharp edge pressing into the ball of my foot. It's the shock more than the pain that causes me to stumble, and I fall into the wall, cushioning most of the impact with my hands. I'm so close to escape that I keep moving, but the silence is shattered by a door slamming behind me. I steal a look over my shoulder, and my skin starts to crawl. At the top of the stairs under the landing light is another mannequin. It has a blood-stained bag over its head and its arms raised high as if it's screaming in terror. I quickly move out into the porch and run to my car. I get inside and engage the central lock-in and take a minute to catch my breath. I look back up at the house, and in every window there is a pale face of a mannequin staring back at me. All of them have a wild tangle of hair, each one butchered in its own uniquely disturbing way. Some of the heads are completely caved in. However, there is one figure that stands out from the rest. It's in one of the downstairs rooms, one that I must have sneaked past. A sinister, oversized grin is stretched across its face as it slowly raises a hand and waves at me with a mock friendliness. And with that, I floor it out of there. I hope it was someone just playing a prank on me. That's what I choose to believe, because the alternative is just too harrowing to face. Even so, I made sure that the restaurant blacklisted that address. I still deliver food, but now I'm much more cautious when I'm given strange instructions. You just never know what might be waiting for you on the other side of that door.